Welcome to the Bass Sessions. I'm here at Bass Studios. I'm Nick J. Townsend, and with me is Andy Parker from the iconic band UFO.
Hello.
Andy, thank you ever so much for joining us today.
No problem.
Obviously, you're currently getting ready for your next series of gigs.
Absolutely.
You do have an arsenal of albums, of course, over 20. Am I right?
Yeah, I believe so. I wasn't on all of them, so I'm quite count. I was on most.
But you have got a massive back catalogue.
Back catalogue, yes.
So how when you're obviously when you're touring, how do you guys decide which songs we're going to play? Because you must have different generations of people that like different tunes.
Absolutely. We just listen to the singer, see what he announces.
So you like get a dartboard.
It is difficult because there's certain songs that you have to do that people expect. But as you say, with that many albums, there's just no way you can fit everything in. Obviously, the record company wants you to play stuff off the current album. That goes without saying. So it does get difficult. I mean, if you were listening, we were just rehearsing. We've actually rehearsed a couple of songs from the Paul Chapman era because it's come to our attention that people keep complaining that we don't play any. So we're hoping to rectify that on this next run of gigs. I mean, it gets to the point where you get comfortable with the set, and sometimes you can always play it for too long. Mm. Then you start getting feedback on the website that goes, "Oh, not that same set again." So
you've got so many people to please. It must be
there is. I mean, it's impossible. You can't please. I don't know. I didn't say it, but someone said you can't please all of the people all of the time. So, and that's very true. So we do our best, and we do listen to feedback on the website, and hopefully, there'll be something for everybody.
Your latest releases was Seven Deadly, 2012, and that was that was your 20th album, and you knock out albums every 2 or 3 years. So
yeah, it used to be every year, like in 70s, 74, 75. That was every year. Then it slowed down a bit. I mean, I left the first time in '83. We just brought out Making Contact. And then I didn't come back until 94, 95 when we did Walk on Water. So I'm not absolutely certain how many albums came out in that period because I wasn't paying a lot of attention, to be totally honest.
You've had a lot of personnel changes as well. I mean, you've got, it's got about 10 years you've got Vinnie Moore playing with you.
I think, I've been back 7 years now, I think. Does that sound right? 05. How long ago? Oh, that's even... I came back in 05, so what was it? 9 years?
9 years.
Bloody hell, time flies. And Vinny was in about 3 years before me, I think. So, so he's been...
What was that like for you?
He'll be getting his pension soon.
Because obviously, as you had a bit of time away, you walked into the band again, and you got a different guitar player. What was that? Is it Michael Schenker before, was it?
Yeah, well, Michael, yes, I've been playing with them on and off before. It was Michael when we did Walk on Water in '94. And the guys wanted, they offered me to tour with them, but... I just, the feeling wasn't quite there. There was still a lot of tension between Phil and Michael, and there has been over the years. And they've done a lot of shows together without me, but it just didn't feel right for me. So I opted not to do it. And I think in hindsight, I probably made the right decision. But in '05, I was living in England. I'd moved back here, and I got a call from Paul Raymond saying that they had a show booked in Spain. This was on August bank holiday, I think, in the middle of the summer. And he said they had a show booked in Spain in November of that year they couldn't get out of. And Jason Bonham, who was playing drums for them then, had left to go to Foreigner. And they needed a drummer. And he said, well, Phil says, don't bother calling you because we've asked you before. So he said, but I thought I'd give it a try before we started looking. And I said, well, yeah, okay. I'm getting ready to move back to the States, so I'm free. And... it was great. Vinny was there. I hadn't met Vinny before, but it just felt different. Everyone felt happy. It felt relaxed, and it was a good show. I was extremely rusty because I hadn't really played much in the years previous, but it just felt great. And then they just said, "Are you interested in staying?" And I said, "Yeah, absolutely." So I've been there since. As you say, 9 years. I couldn't believe it's that long.
Yeah, Vinny's an exceptional guitar player.
He's amazing. But he's a really stand-up guy. He's really solid and dependable, which you kind of have to be. It's there's a lot riding on it. A lot of people put time and effort into it, and fans, they pay hard-earned money to see a show, and we don't like cancelling shows, and you know, so you know, and I know with Vinny, I don't know we've actually cancelled any. So you know, at least not from any fault of our own. And I'm really happy. I'm planning to stay. So
Obviously, things have changed since the band first started in the music scene. I imagine, obviously, record shops aren't quite what they used to be.
you can't find them.
No, they seem to all be knocked down. But you guys have
Rarer
to
than
deal with
hen's
that.
teeth.
I
Sorry?
mean, you guys have to deal with that and just keep going. So,
Yeah,
do you do social networking as much like?
Well, you
today's
know,
bands?
everyone's got. I mean, I got my own site. The band's got its site. There's Facebook pages and that kind of stuff. You know, and the way I look at it, I mean, I like the fact that your music is so accessible to people now. What I don't like, and I'm going to get on my soapbox again because I always do this, is people stealing it. And I always say, you know, kids would think twice about walking in a record store and sticking a record under their jacket and walking out of it. But they don't seem to think twice about illegal downloads. And whichever way you look at it, you're stealing money from somebody, you know. And I just think that people need to, you know, have more of a conscience about it. And obviously, record companies need to try and really protect that stuff, you know. You know, and it got to, you know, back in the old days, they didn't even want cameras in there, but now every bugger's got a cell phone in there, you know. I mean, my wife lives in the States, and she actually the night of the show, she'll be watching me on, you know, they posted like seconds after we leave the stage. She said, "Well, watch the gig tonight, you know, on YouTube," so, which is kind of nice. I mean, you can't stop that, and I wouldn't really want to. When it comes down to an album that you put time and effort into and paid a studio, which costs us a lot of money to record an album, then I think you should get that's how we make our living. So, that's it. Speech over.
Well, you can say anything you want, really. But say the new wave of British heavy metal, which you guys are, I'm not saying pigeonholed with, but you're quite known for that. Since how do you see the music scene of the UK these days compared to back then? Because if I'm right about this, wasn't UFO for the first few years more popular outside the UK?
Well, that's hard because I think we were a bit before the new wave. I think we kind of like
69,
maybe
wasn't it?
Yeah, I think we maybe kind of inspired the new wave. But I mean, our first popular area was Germany because that's where we went and made our money back in the late 60s and early 70s. Then we had some success in Japan. We didn't actually go to America until 75 because it's so expensive to go there. You know, by that time we had a decent record company, Chrysalis, and you know, we borrowed the money from them basically to go, and yeah, we became very popular there. But I don't think, you know, I mean, I think the only reason we couldn't have been more popular in America than England because no one knew us there for a while, you know. So we've always had a fantastic fan base here. I mean, the British fans, they're real diehards. So, you know, and obviously it's different now. We play smaller venues, and I quite like that. I like that intimacy, you know. I mean, it was great fun back in the 70s and 80s playing those vast stadiums, but there's a difference, you know. And the small venues are good. I think Phil likes it too, you know, that kind of closeness with the audience. So,
do you think,
you know, and it's fun.
Do you think the music scene in general, I mean, if you could change anything about the music scene currently, what would you suggest changing? Because I see less interest in great bands like yourself on mainstream television and music channels, and really they should be.
That is really difficult. I mean, you know, it used to be FM radio was the king in the States, and now it's, you know, you can't get played on FM. I mean, the classic rock stations, but unfortunately, we kind of fall below the radar. I mean, it's all Foreigner and ZZ Top and stuff. You know, I mean, UFO was always kind of a more of a, you know, an underground kind of following. So it's difficult to get airplay. I mean, thank goodness for Eddie Trunk. You know, he's just such a great envoy for us. But that's probably the hardest thing. To get your new material actually out there and listened to, especially by younger kids. Because I mean, it would be nice to, you know, and we are starting to see that. I mean, I have to say we're starting to see some younger people that have shows. It used to be the younger kids who come in with their parents, you know, who are fans, but now we're actually seeing them coming on their own, which is it's very exciting.
So you talk about new material. Is is this year another year for a new release? Is this?
Well, the record company want one. It's just really finding the time to put it together. You know, yeah, SPV, which is our label, we've just re-signed with them for another album, but it really just is a matter of, you know, finding time to put it together. But it'll be fairly soon, hopefully. I don't think it'll be out this year. I mean, we'll probably start working on it this year. But you're probably looking at next year before it's released.
What do you got? What kind of things inspire you guys? Because after so many albums, and you've talked about so many things via lyrics, musically. I mean, what kind of things now are going to inspire you to create this next record? I mean, what kind of things in your life would you say we need to be writing about this?
Well, you know, this band has never been one to write to a certain genre, you know, or try and appeal to a certain class of people. This band has always been about where they're at the time, you know, what's coming from here, you know. So that's one of the things I really love about them, you know. That it's, you know, there was a brief period back in the early '80s when the record company tried to steer us, you know, into a place where we didn't belong. It just was all kinds of wrong, you know. So I think that, you know, it's just the fact that we've known each other for such a long time, and we can still have a lot of fun. I mean, and to me, music is about having fun. If you're not having fun, then what's the point, you know? Because, you know, the audience aren't stupid. They can see it if you're not having fun. And if you are, they have fun too. So that's really what it's about. And, you know, whilst there's a record company interested and while we can still turn out decent material, we'll do it. And, you know, hopefully it'll be for many years.
Oh, we hope we see you for the next 10 years at least.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you ever so much for joining the Bass Sessions.
You're welcome. It was a pleasure.
And good luck on
Thank
the
you.
tour.
Thank you so much.
You're watching the Bass Sessions.